The kiss tasted of victory and venom. The moment her lips touched his, the full, raw power of the Obsidian Heart surged from the mark above her heart, through her, and into the Shadow King. It wasn't an embrace, it was an assertion, a ruthless transfer of dominance. The shadows that had once obeyed Kale now coiled around her, responding to her will, deepening the color of her eyes to an alarming, inky black. Kale stumbled back, his face a mask of profound shock and betrayal. He gripped his chest, the familiar cold of the curse having shifted, no longer a parasitic drain, but a volatile, rebellious force within him, echoing the power that now coursed through her. You stole it," he rasped, his voice raw. "You stole everything." "I took what you forced me to pay for," a raven-haired woman responded, her voice resonating with an unfamiliar, cold authority that surprised even her. She held the Obsidian Heart in her hand, its dark crystal pulsing in sync with her heart. "You sought a permanent host, Kale. You found one, and I have taken the throne that came with the crown." Kale, the once unflappable Shadow King, was visibly shaken. His eyes, usually pools of bottomless darkness, now held a glimmer of something akin to fear, or perhaps a terrifying respect. He watched the shadows around her dance to her command, a loyal, ancient force that had simply recognized its new, true master. "And what do you intend to do, Elara? Reign with a mortal heart? You do not understand the politics of this court. The moment my vassals sense a shift in power, they will tear you apart." "Then you will teach me," the woman countered, stepping forward, her new power magnetic and undeniable. She paused before him, her hand reaching out, not to touch, but to command. "You are no longer the king, Kale. You are my consort. You will guide me. You will protect my throne. And you will not betray me, or the curse will be the least of your torments." The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of shattered authority. Kale stared at her, a complicated mixture of rage, admiration, and dawning realization crossing his aristocratic features. He, the eternal ruler, was now subservient to the mortal thief he had bound to his curse. A sudden sharp tremor shook the citadel. It was not the chaotic magic of the Fae this time, but a deep, rhythmic thud, thud, thud from below the city, a siege engine. "The Pale Court," Kale muttered, his attention immediately shifting to the external threat. "They have returned. They sense the shift. They know the throne is vulnerable." "Then you will show me how a king defends his kingdom," the raven-haired woman commanded, her eyes blazing with newfound resolve. "And I will show them the power of a Shadow Queen." Kale moved with a frustrated, almost furious grace, leading her through the labyrinthine passages of the citadel to the outer defenses. The citadel was a beehive of activity, the lesser shadow creatures and immortal guards moving with frantic urgency. The air vibrated with the raw, unstable magic of the ongoing assault. They reached a high battlements overlooking Veridian. The city was under siege. Massive, shadowy siege engines, powered by volatile Fae magic, were battering the outer veil, sending cracks of blinding, chaotic light through the magical barrier. Beyond the veil, she could glimpse the swirling, icy armies of the Pale Court, a horde of winged Fae warriors, ice giants, and dark mages, all led by a figure wreathed in chilling moonlight. Lady Maris, Kale identified, his voice tight with loathing. She leads the Pale Court. She seeks to shatter the veil and claim Veridian for her own. She is ruthless, and she will show no mercy to a mortal queen. The raven-haired woman felt the curse surge within her, not in a demanding, painful way, but as a wellspring of infinite power, hungry to be unleashed. The thorn vine mark on her chest pulsed with a cold, exhilarating energy. "How do we stop them?" she asked, her gaze sweeping over the chaos. Kale turned to her, his expression grim. The veil is maintained by the Obsidian Heart. Its power radiates outward, creating the magical barrier that shields Veridian. With you as its host, you can amplify its power, but it will drain you exponentially faster. "And if I fall?" "Then the veil collapses," Kale stated, his eyes locking onto hers with cold certainty. "Veridian is consumed by chaos, and the curse, with no host to contain it, will consume all life in this city before it devours itself." A massive icy bolt of fey magic slammed into the battlements near them, sending stone shards flying. The veil flickered dangerously, momentarily exposing the terrified mortal inhabitants of Veridian to the horrors beyond. "The Pale Court is relentless," a shadow general reported, rushing up to Kale, then pausing, confused by the shift in Kale's demeanor and the overwhelming shadow aura now radiating from the raven-haired woman.
"My king, the outer perimeter is failing." "She is the queen now," Kale stated, his voice devoid of emotion, confirming the terrifying new reality to his loyalists. "Her command is absolute." He looked at the raven-haired woman, his voice dropping to a low, intense whisper for her ears alone. "This is your first test, Elara. Show them the might of a shadow queen. Prove yourself worthy of the heart." The raven-haired woman took a deep breath, the cold power of the Obsidian Heart filling her. She walked to the edge of the battlements, her figure silhouetted against the chaos of the siege. She raised her hands, focusing her will. The thorn vine mark on her chest flared with muted crimson light, channeling the raw, untamed power of the heart directly into the veil. A wave of pure, concentrated shadow energy erupted from her, crashing against the weakened magical barrier. The veil, which had been flickering, solidified into an impenetrable wall of shimmering, deep midnight blue magic. The Fey siege engines recoiled, their volatile magic unable to breach the newly amplified defense. Lady Maris, the Fey leader, sensed the surge of power. Her spectral figure wreathed in icy moonlight turned to face the citadel, her gaze narrowing, a chilling realization dawning in her eyes. "The curse. It has found its queen," she hissed, her voice carrying across the battlements. "This changes nothing, Shadow King. Your new puppet will fall, and Veridian will be ours." The raven-haired woman ignored the taunt, her focus absolute. She maintained the amplified veil, feeling the immense drain on her newly acquired power, but also the intoxicating thrill of absolute control. The shadows were her loyal servants, the city her domain. She was the queen. But as she held the veil, she heard a voice whisper in her mind, cold and ancient, the voice of the curse itself. "The queen demands absolute power. The queen demands absolute sacrifice. Feed me, little host. Give me the light." The voice was Kale's, yet it was not Kale. It was the malevolent entity within the curse, amplified by the Obsidian Heart, demanding its due. Elara felt the drain intensify, no longer just of her energy, but of her very life force, recognizing the true, devastating price of her new crown. She had stolen the throne, but she was still a prisoner, bound to an insatiable hunger. She looked at Cale, who stood beside her, his face grim, his eyes reflecting a deep understanding of her torment. He had warned her of the price. Now he was witnessing her payment. Their roles had reversed, but the underlying tragedy remained. The Shadow King was now her consort, but the Shadow Queen was still a slave to the curse. If you enjoy this kind of story, subscribe, for there is a lot to come.